Hello everyone, welcome to another video in my channel. In this video, I will be explaining for you and solving the practice test of Chapter 7, Grade 9 Advanced Mathematics, Quadratic Expressions and Equations. So let's see the first question in the practice test. Find each sum or difference. So whenever he will be giving you this question, all what you need to think of, take the like terms whether in a horizontal way or in a vertical way. So I have explained this before while I was solving the mid-chapter quiz, so please refer to the previous video. So let's go. Am I having any like terms like the x? Yes, I'm having minus 3x, so take it with its sign. Then plus, am I having anything like the 5? Yes, and let's take it with its sign. So it's a plus the 7. Then let's go lastly to this term where I don't have any like term. So let's simplify it more. It's all about and put it in the standard form from the highest power to the lowest power. So x squared will be in the beginning, then minus 2x, then plus 12. Good. Now let's go to the second question. Again, so let's start from the beginning by the highest power and pay attention. Here you are having two letters N and M. So here you are having subtraction. So what I advise you, you can from the beginning distribute the minus and change it into positive. So 7m minus 8n squared plus 3n plus, so you will be changing all the signs here. So this one will be positive, here will be negative, and here it will be positive. So now let's gather the like terms. So minus 8n squared plus 2n squared added to 7m minus 4m added to 3n plus 3n. Now let's simplify it further. So minus 8n squared plus 2n squared, it's all about minus 6n squared. 7m minus 4m, it is plus 3m. Then 3n plus 3n, it's all about 6n. That's it. Now let's go to this question. Question 3. You are having someone called Abir. She is carpeting two of the rooms in her house. So this is room 1 or area 1. This is room 2. The dimensions are shown. Which expression represent the total area to be carpeted? So now you are having room 1 and room 2. So let's look at question 3. You must pay attention that you need to find the area of the rectangle, and the area, it's all about length by width. So let's look at area 1 at the beginning. So it's all about x multiplied by x plus 3. All what you need to do is distributive property. So it's all about x squared plus 3x. Now let's go to area 2. All what we need to do is that x minus 2, x plus 5. And here you will be using your FOIL method. And the final answer for this will be x squared plus 3x minus 10. So here you will be using distributive property, but there you will be using FOIL method. Now, what is the question? He's asking you to find the total area. So to find the total area, that means you need to sum area 1 plus area 2 That means it's like you will be adding polynomials. So take from the beginning the like term, so x squared plus x squared, then 3x plus 3x, then plus minus 10 alone. Now let's go to the others. That means you will be having 2x squared plus 6x minus 10. Now let's look which answer is this one. So this will be your B. So pay attention to this question. Now let's go to this question. From 4 to 8, he's asking you to find the product. So in a question 4, all what you need to do is distributive property. And you should know that whenever you are having the same base, you need to add the powers. So you will be having a cubed plus 2a squared minus 10a. Now let's go to this question. Here you will be using FOIL method. In question 5, you will be using FOIL method. So when you use FOIL method, you will be getting 6a squared minus 5a minus 25. So the reason that I don't explain it again from the beginning, I explained it already in the mid-chapter quiz, so please, you can just revise it. In question 6, you will be using the distributive property. After using it, you will be getting x cubed plus 2x squared minus 21x plus 18. Now, in question 7, it is all about that you will be using the rule of a plus b all squared. So a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. So pay attention to this. You must square the first, then add 2 multiplied by the first multiplied by the last. So you will be getting 6x, then square the last, you will be getting your 9. Now, lastly, in question 8, whenever you are having two terms are the same, and the only difference is the sign, always think of the product of a sum and a difference, which can be concluded as a squared minus b squared. That means you must take the first one, square it, which will give you 4b squared, sorry, not a, 4b squared minus square the last, which is 25. Great. Now let's go to this question. This question is giving you an introduction for the other unit. So it will be talking about financial literacy. So suppose you are investing 4,000 dirhams in 2-year certificate of deposit. Let's look at the question A. If your interest rate was 5% per year, you are having the expression which will be giving you the evaluation of the total money after 2 years. So he would like you to explain each number in this expression. So pay attention, let's write it again. 4,000, 1 plus 0.05 all squared. So pay attention to this. First of all, in the heading, he gave you already what is your 4,000. So your 4,000, it's all about your amount of investment that you already invest in it. Good. Now, let's take care of the others. So, number 1, you are having 1 is added to your interest. Now let's go to 0.05. Now 0.05, he gave it to you previously as a rate. So here you will be having your rate as decimal instead of having it 5%. And your 2 will be referring to the 2 years. So it's all about the years of deposit or investment, of whether investment or deposit. So now after explaining each of them, let's go to B. Find the amount at the end of 2 years. That means he would like you to evaluate this expression. So you can just put it in your calculator and find the value of it. So it will be around 4,410 AED. Good. Now let's go to C. Now in C, he would like you to build your new equation from the beginning. So suppose you invest 10,000 dirham. That means he gave you the first value. Then he told you that you are having 4 years. That means this is your number here. And you are having your annual interest rate of 6.25. That means you will be adding 1 plus, and how can you change it to decimal? Just 6.25 over 100. With this, you can just put it in your calculator to find the total money, which will be around 12,744 AED. That's it. Now let's go to this question. And this question, I can remember that they got it for them in their exam of grade 9, term 2, in the paper exams. So pay attention on this question. The area of the rectangle shown, so he gave you the area and he would like you to find the width. Now, let's go to the question itself. He just gave you the area. So he gave you your length. He would like to have the width. Unknown. So we know that the area of any rectangle, it's all about length by width. So just let's substitute. So your area, it's all about 2x squared minus x minus 15. So your L is 2x plus 5. Now you are missing your W. That means you need to find another factor that if you multiply it with the length, that it will be giving you the area. At the same time, it's like you will be dividing both sides by 2x plus 5. So let's now think of factors of 2x squared minus x minus 15. So you are having two methods, whether you will be using the table, or I have taught my students another way other than the table method, and seeing whether they are added to each other and the factor will be multiplied. You are having the calculator method. So you will be comparing this to ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. That means you will go to your calculator. If you are having this type of calculator, then you should go to the following. Let me just do it. So you should go from the beginning to mod then choose 5, which is the equation. Then you must compare the same shape, ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0, which is the standard form of a quadratic formula. Go to 3. And now put your terms. What is your a? It's all about 2. What's your b? It's all about minus 1. Take it with its sign. Then lastly, your c, it's all about minus 15. Great. Now, that means your x1 is equal to 3, your x2 is equal minus 5 over 2. So let's write it now. So you got two answers. Your x1 is 3, your x2 is minus 5 over 2. So whenever you are getting an answer from your calculator, you can write the factors as just change it and equate it to 0. Make it inside. So to change it to a factor, it's like you are subtracting both sides and here you are adding both sides. That means you will be changing the sign. So always use this formula, x minus x1, x minus x2, to factor a quadratic formula. So we know that our x1 and x2, we got it using the calculator already. So now let's substitute x minus 3, x minus minus 5 over 2. So it's like what I told you, that you will be putting minus 5 over 2 next to the x2, so it will be turning into plus. So x minus 3, x plus 5 over 2. So now pay attention. Whenever you are having a fraction, you will be multiplying both sides with the number in the denominator, and at the same time what you will do is that you will be having a distributive property on this. That means x minus 3, 2x. Now let's go to the other. After the distributive property, 2x plus 5. Good. That means now let's compare. You got the factors already of the area. X minus 3, 2x plus 5. Let's now compare. You already got your length previously, so it seems if you compared to each other, this will be your length. Now your width is missing, so whether you will be dividing, so this length will be cancelled, or you can just solve it by comparing. So this is your width, x minus 3. So the whole idea is that you need to factor your area. One of the factors will be your width, the other factor will be your length. Good. Now let's go to the other question. 11 and 12. In 11 and 12, all what you need to do is that you need to solve each equation. But to solve it, you need first of all to make some of the rules, which is like distributive property, FOIL method, or something like this. Now let's focus together. First of all, in 11, all what I need to do is the FOIL method, the distributive property, and here the distributive property. So don't forget that we are having an equal between them. So after taking the distributive property, it will be 5t squared minus 15t plus 10 is equal to 5t squared minus 2t. Now, always whenever you are having such a question, remove the variables next to the variable and the numbers alone. So you can just keep the 10 here, and move the others to the other side, the other variables to the other side. So 10 will be alone, 5t squared minus 5t squared, then minus 2t as it is, then plus 15t. Always whenever you like shift the term to the other side, just to change the sign. So this will be helping you to cancel this and this, and here you are having like terms which will be helping you to do it like this. 13t is equal to 10. That means divide both sides by 13. You will be getting 10 over 30. This is your t. Now let's go and let's solve the other question. Now let's solve question 12. Whenever you are having such a question, again, you will be using the distributive property, but whenever you are having the same base, don't forget to add the powers. So 3x squared plus 6x is equal to 3x squared again minus 6. So whatever you need to do is that you need to move the variables next to the variables, the numbers next to the numbers. So let's remove this variable here. So 3x squared plus 6x minus 3x squared is equal to minus 6. So which will help you to see that these are like terms that can be cancelled. So 6x is equal to minus 6 divided by 6 both sides. You will be having your x as minus 1. Remember, always you can check by putting the number again inside the equation. See if the right hand side will be equal to the left hand side or not. Now we need to factor these problems 13, 14, 15, and 16. So I will be solving each of them, and it will be depending on the gap. So I will be shifting between the slides. So here I will be solving question 13, 5xy minus 10x. So whenever you are having two terms like this, all what you need to think of is, first of all, find the GCF. What do I mean by the GCF? Greatest common factor. That means, let me start it by the simplest way. Then in 14, I will go ahead with the problem. So take the first term, 5xy. See what are the numbers and the variables that if I multiply together, it will give me 5xy. That means if I multiplied 5 by x by y, I will be getting these values. Now let's go to minus 10x. If I multiplied minus 1 by 2 by 5 by x, I will be getting minus 10x. Now let's pay attention to this. When I have greatest common factor, that means I should find the common between all the terms that I'm having. That means I'm having my 5 and I'm having my x. So always take your common factor outside, open brackets, see what's remaining, y. So here the remaining is y, put it as it is. Then what's remaining here? Minus 1 multiplied by 2, multiply them by each other, so it will be minus 2. Just put it as it is. That's it. This is your solution. Now this is the easy method which is inside your book already. Now let's go to 14. So in 14, whether you can use the same method or you can solve it by your eyes directly. First of all, look for a number that is having a common factor GCF between each other, between the 7, the 14, and the 21. So we can notice that 7 is the common factor. Now, let's look at the variable. Here I'm having a, here I'm having a, here I'm having a squared. That means I can take a as a common factor. Now let's look at the others. Here I'm having b, I'm having b squared, I'm having another b. That means I can take b outside. So this is my GCF and this is my GCF again. So that means to find the rest or the remaining, what I will do is that I will take my GCF and I will divide by it in all the terms. 7ab, 7ab. So let's see what's remaining here. When I divide any term by itself, it will be giving you 1 plus. Now 14 divided by 7, it's 2. A divided by A, same term, so it is 1. Now b squared by b, I'm having repeated, b multiplied by b over b, cancel one of them, so it will be 2b. Then now 21 over 7 will be 3. Then a squared over a, it will be giving you a, b over b, it will be giving you 1. That means this is the last answer. Whether you will be using the detailed solution as 13 or you can just do it by your eyes. Now let's go to question 15. So in question 15, I will be solving it for you in two ways. So pay attention to both ways. Way 1. So in way 1, I'm having 4 terms and a quadratic equation. Pay attention. I know some of you will think always that we are having here like terms. What we should do, we are having like terms. Am I going to add them? First of all, let's one time solve it without adding. Another time we will be adding them and see what's the difference between the two ways. So way 1, I will be using the grouping because I'm having here 4 terms. Good. So whenever you are having 4 terms, you need to pay attention that you can group. So let's take the first 2 terms together. So take 4x squared plus 8x, and then x plus 2, take it like this. Then think of the GCF of each part. So here, let's look at it and extract the GCF. So look at the numbers. So 4 will be the common factor and x will be the common factor. So that means here you will be having x remaining plus 2. And here I don't have any GCF except the 1. So x plus 2. Some people would like to write the 1, but it's like the same. If you didn't write it, it's the same. So no need to write any 1 here. So let's have another GCF, another GCF. So you will be extracting your GCF outside x plus 2. And then take what's remaining, 4x. And now you took everything here. What's remaining? The remaining is your 1 plus 1. That's it. So whether you can solve it by grouping, way 2, I will be explaining it now. Another method could be, let's go to way 2 now. Way 2 will be all about that you will be solving your quadratic formula for x squared plus, now add the like terms, 8x plus x, so it will be 9x plus 2. So you will be going to the calculator. Your A will be 4, your B will be 9, your C will be 2. So let's go to the calculator. Always put it as x minus x1 and x minus x2. And you need to pay attention that, first of all, you need to check if we are having a GCF or not. So here we don't have a GCF. So no need to take any GCF before we factor. So let's pay attention. Let's go to the calculator and put the numbers. So mod 5, 3 again. So your first number is 4, then 9, then 2. So your first factor minus 1 over 4 and the other factor minus 2. That means x minus minus 2, x minus minus 1 over 4. So you just need to change the sign, x plus 2, and here it is x plus 1 over 4. Again, as we did in the previous question, whenever you are having in the denominator a number here, I don't want it. So I would like to rationalize it to make the denominator having 1 and the numerator having the numbers. So I will be taking this brackets, I will multiply it by its denominator, which will make here for me x plus 2 for x plus 1. That's it. So it gave me the same answer as way 1. So you can choose whatever you like, whether by grouping or by the other method. Now let's solve question 16. So in a question 16, it will be giving you the same method. So let's have a gap here to solve question 16. So question 16 will be all about, let me just copy the question, 10a squared minus 50a minus a plus 5. So let's write it here, 10a squared minus 50a minus a plus 5. So let's pay attention to this. Here I can take the first two terms together, but think what would be here the GCF. So here we are having 10 and we are having a. So if I factor them, I will be having here a minus 5. But here I'm having the opposite. So always think of the inverse of the additive. So from the beginning, extract the minus outside. So make it like a 10a squared minus 50a minus, now extract the minus. So it will be now a minus 5. With this, it will be helping you to factorize. So you will be getting 10a outside, then a minus 5 minus a minus 5. With this, you can just take the a minus 5 as GCF, and this is your a minus 5. Then what's remaining is your 1 here, so 10a minus 1. So this is the solution by your first way. Now in this video, I will be also focusing not only on the algebraic solution, I will be showing you how can you solve using Desmos also. So here, let's focus first of all on how can I solve this equation. Later, in the later questions, I will be showing you how can you cross-check your answers using Desmos. So solve each equation. confirm your answers using a graphing calculator. So let's see, question 17. Y multiplied by y minus 14 all square equal to all inside the square or brackets, which will be equal to 0. So whenever you are having such a question, you are having two terms multiplied by each other equal to 0, so you can use the zero product property. So your y will be equal to 0, or your y minus 14 will be equal to 0. Solve this equation, plus 14 plus 14. So your y will be equal to 14. And now if you used 18, again your solution must be divided to either or. So either 3x will be 0, or x plus 6 will be equal to 0. Now solve this equation, divide both sides by 3. It is x equal to 0. Now let's solve this one, minus 6 minus 6. So your x will be equal to minus 6. Now let's go to 19. What's tricky about 19 is that you should take the 12a inside. So a squared minus 12a equal to 0. Take a as common factor, it will be a minus 12 equal to 0, which will lead you again to the zero product property. Either a is equal to 0 or a minus 12 equal to 0. Add 12 both sides, so you are having a as 12. That's great. So after talking about the zero product property, let's now go to the question after this, which is question 20. A man is carpeting a room that has an area of x squared minus 100. If the width will be x minus 10, so what will be your length? So again, we are having another question about the area, width, and length. So whenever he is giving you your area, just take it and factorize it. So what's easy about this polynomial or binomial is that it's having two terms. Each of them can be solved using the square root. So if you can compare it to a squared minus b squared, then you will be having as the following. Take the square root of the first, the square root of the other, and one time minus, another time positive. So it will be factored to a minus b and a plus b. So now let's go and factor x squared minus 100. Take the square root of the first, the square root of the other. So it will be x minus 10 and x plus 10. So this is your area after you factored it already. So your width is x minus 10. That means your length is x plus 10, which is your answer of B. Now let's go to the other question. So from question 21 until 28, you are required to factor each trinomial. So when I say trinomial, that means I'm having three terms. But now look at the question 25 and 26, they are binomials. So please pay attention when you are factoring and on the conceptual questions. Good. Now let's go to question 21. In question 21, I will be solving it using two ways. One way will be the way of the book, the other way, it's the way that I solved it with you, the calculator, at the beginning of this lesson. which is the way of the book. So let's see and focus now. So I want to focus on C and B. So put it in front of you, x squared plus 7x plus 6. That means my B is 7, my C is 6, and your A already, you know what it is, 1. So now let's focus on this. I want two numbers. If I multiply them by each other, they will be giving me 6. And if I add them to each other, they will be giving me the sum of 7, which is B. And now let's look at the signs. Here I'm having it positive and positive. That means the signs are the same and both will be positive. So let me use the method of the book. So if I added these two numbers to each other, they must be positive. And if I multiply them by each other, they must be positive because I'm having both of them here positive. That means M and P both are positive values. So this is the method of the book. And you will be constructing a table. So whenever I see or I have multiple of MP, that means it is factors of 6, which is C. Now think of two numbers. If you multiply them with each other, they will be giving you 6, and they have to be in the positive means, not the negative. That means 6 and 1, 2 and 3. Great. Now, let's sum them. Sum of these factors. If you added 6 to 1, then it will be giving you 7. If you added 2 to 3, then it will be giving you 5. That means you want the factor that if you add it to each other, it will be giving you your B. That means this is right, this is wrong. That means I want these two factors. And I know already that both of them are positive. So let's now open brackets. So x plus m, x plus p will be equal to x plus 6, x plus 1. So this is the method of the book where you must look at the last term and the coefficient of x, test their signs, and think of the factors of 6. Think of the sums of these factors. Are they going to be giving you the coefficient of x or not? And then you must write them with taking care of the signs. Now let me give you other way, which is the calculator way. In the calculator way, first of all, you should care of look at the trinomial. Is it going to be having a GCF or not? If it's having a GCF, then get it outside. Second thing, if it's not having a GCF and you are having A is equal to 1, so directly, if there is no GCF, you will be putting x minus x1 always, and x minus x2. But in the case of the GCF, you will be multiplying your GCF by x minus x1, again x minus x2, where your x1 and x2 will be taken from the calculator with the same signs. as you get in the calculator. Good. Now, so regardless of the sign, later it will be changing. So let's now see what the calculator will be needing. So the method is that in this calculator, it will be mod 5, 3. So let me show you the calculator. If you have a different calculator, then you can just Google how can you factor quadratic equations using your calculator. So it's all about mod in this calculator, mod, then go to 5, which is equation, then go to 3, which is the quadratic form, ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. Now he's asking you to put a, b, and c, so you got them already. Your a is 1, your b is 7, and put it with its sign. Pay attention, the sign will be changing many things. So 6. Now you are getting x1 as minus 1, x2 as minus 6. So x1 minus 1, x2 as minus 6. So basically, your calculator is finding the solution for you. So here, if you put it equal to 0 and you use the zero product property, you will be equating each one to 0 and you will be getting this answer at the end. So the calculator method, you can use it to like flip the thing. You have the solution, now you need to write the factorization. But the method of the book, you have the factorization and you should obtain it, then use the zero product property to get the solution. So sometimes the method of the calculator will be easier and more direct than the method of the factorization. So let's now substitute x minus x1, x minus x2. That's it. So it will be x plus 1 and x plus 6. So we obtain the same. So as I told you, the method of the book will be concentrating on letting you finding the factors, some of the factors, then it will be giving you the factors. But how can you get the solution? You must equate it to 0, use the zero product property. But in way 2, that means you will be using your calculator from the beginning and factor it using the solution. So it is like vice versa solution. So, and this was question 21, question 23, 22, 24, and 27. 28 can be done also using the calculator or the normal factorization. So let me solve one of the questions with having factor of a not equal to 1. So 21 and 22 are having the same way exactly. So I will not solve the 22. Solve it alone, please, and comment in the chat if you need anything. What else? Now 23, 25, 27, 28 are having the same way of solution, but always pay attention to the GCF. So let's now solve together 23. I will solve it here. So 23, 10 x squared minus x minus 3. So your A is equal 10, your B is equal minus 1, your C is equal minus 3. Now focus with me. You need to go to your calculator directly. Mod 1 if you would like to exit the previous question. Now mod 5, 3. And it's very important to know how can you exit the equation mode, because sometimes you will be having questions in the multiple choice that is not related to the equation and you need your calculator. So 10 minus 1 and minus 3. So 3 over 5 and minus 1 over 2. So x1, 3 over 5, x2, minus 1 over 2. Good. Now, let's put the rule. X minus x1, x minus x2. And pay attention to this. So here, I will be putting this, and whenever I'm having minus and here plus, I will keep it as it is, x minus 3 over 5. But here I'm having minus, so it will be turned to positive. Good. Now pay attention. I would like to get rid of whatever in the denominator. That means I will be multiplying by the denominator for each brackets. So it's like you imagine that you are erasing the denominator and multiplying it by x with keeping the numerator alone. So let me just explain it here. 5 multiplied by x minus 3 over 5, as if you didn't do anything. Then at the same time, let's go to the other problem. You will be multiplying 2x plus 1 over 2 and close the brackets. Now you will do the distributive property separated for each of them, which is 5x minus 3, 2x plus 1. That's it. So pay attention whenever you are solving such a question that you need to get rid of the denominator, because sometimes in the multiple choice he will not be giving you fractions. Good. So we did a question 21 and 23. Let's see what are the other questions that we can do. Question 25 and question 26. Pay attention to them. So 25 and 26. Here you are having binomial x squared minus 25. So it's clearly two squared values. So if you took the square root of each value, so it will be x minus 5, x plus 5. Always pay attention that it could be simulated as a squared minus b squared. That's it. Now for x squared minus 81, it's the same. A squared minus b squared. Now take the square root of the first, the square root of the other. So it will be 2x minus 9 and 2x plus 9. So pay attention to these rules. Now let's go to 27. So pay attention to 27 and 28. Let me just, okay. So pay attention to 27 and 28. We are having trinomials. And if we will be using the method of the book, that means we must check if these trinomials are perfect squares or not. Trinomial are perfect square or not. So how can you check if it is a perfect square? You need to check the first term. Is it like a square of a term? The last term? And the term in the middle, you need to check if you multiply 2 by the first term after taking the square root, by the last term after taking the square root, are you going to get what is in the middle or not? So please refer to the last lesson in the chapter. Other than this, there is another method which you can use using your calculator. So way one is the book method, so you can refer to your lesson. I will be teaching you way two, which is the calculator method. Sometimes in the MCQ, you need some easy and quickly ways, like fast ways. So here you are having 9a squared minus 12x plus 4. Good. So let's now put this in the calculator. So your a is 9, your b is minus 12, and your c is 4. Now pay attention what we will be getting. Previously, we were getting x1 and x2. Now let's see what we will be getting. Mod 5, 3. Let's substitute 9, b as minus 12, c as 4. That means he just give you one value, x capital as 2 over 3. So what the calculator means when it gives you 2 over 3, right? Yes. So what the calculator means when it gives you only one of them, that means you are having a repeated root. So previously we were used that we need to put x minus x1, x minus x2. Now your x1 and x2 is equal. They are the same value, same value. That means you can just combine them in one square. So x minus x1, x minus x1, because they are the same. That means it's all about x minus x1 all squared. And this what I want you to keep in mind whenever you are having a perfect trinomial. And whenever you are getting only one root, that means it is a repeated root, and this is the general form to write it. So let's now substitute x minus 2 over 3 all squared. Good. Now again, I don't want to have here the 3 down. So whatever I will do is that from the previous step, whenever I was having here x minus 2 over 3, I will be multiplying it by 3 as I have explained before. So it will be 3x minus 2 all squared. So that is all about question 27. Now, question 28 will be having same method of question 27. So pay attention to it. Now let's go to questions from 29 until 32. Solve each equation. Confirm your answers using a graphing calculator. So this is what I told you at the beginning of the video, that I will be showing you how can you check your answers using graphing calculator. So some of you will not be having the physical graphing calculator, so I will be teaching you how can you check using the online graphing calculator. So that means let's look at question 29. You are having x squared minus 4x equal to 21. So first of all, whenever you are having a trinomial to the power of 2, that means it is a quadratic equation. So you need to move the 21 to the other side by having minus 21 both sides. So it will be x squared minus 4x minus 21 equal to 0. Good. Now again, the method that I was always telling you, you will be having directly the calculator method, which will be giving you your solution or your roots directly. Just press mod 53 and put your roots or your coefficient, sorry. So a is equal 1, b is equal minus 4, c is equal minus 21. Great. And now let's go to the calculator. Good. Now let's go to the calculator. So a is equal to 1, b is equal to minus 4, c is equal to minus 21. Now let's see the answer. It is 7 and minus 3. So x1 is 7, x2 is minus 3. That means these are your solutions. Good. Now, let me have, so I solved with you 29. Let me have now 32. So in 32, you are having directly your coefficients inside. So minus 13x plus 20 equal to 0. Now that means your a is 2, your b is minus 13, your c is 20. Now use the calculator again, which is all about you will be entering your coefficient. So 2 is equal to minus 13, which is your b. Now your c, it's all about your 20. So your x1 is 4, your x2 is 5 over 2. x1 is 4, your x2 is 5 over 2. And that's it. Now, the rest, please solve it alone. And again, whether you solve it using factorization or the calculator method, you are free with whatever you would like to do. So let me show you what does it mean to graph it in the calculator. So one of the graphing calculators, the online ones, is Desmos. Another one is GeoGebra. So you can just go to desmos.com and you can refer to my videos about Desmos. So here you can just type the equation and you need to type it with minus 21 inside. So how can you know your solutions and how can you check? Always look at the intersection with the x-axis. So whenever it is intersected with the x-axis, these are your solutions of x. Whenever your y is 0, this is your solution. That means it should intersect with the x-axis. So that was the question that we solved together, which is 29. We are having 7 and minus 3. Now let's see the other question, 32, which is 2x squared. So all of them will be taking care of the intersection with the x-axis. So pay attention here. I'm having 2.5 and 4, which is right. So here I can put it as 2.5 and 4. Good. Now let's go to the last question in the practice test, which needs concentration from you. Even in Aleph, there are many questions like this. So please refer to Aleph also. Which choice is a factor of x to the power 4 minus 1, which when it is factored completely. So you would like to factor it completely. How can you do this? First of all, pay attention that you are having binomial and one of them is to the power 4 and the one is always, when you square it, when you do anything with it, it will be staying as it is, which is the 1. Good. Now let's focus. What if I change it to the form of a squared minus b squared? So what is the term? If you square it, you will be getting x to the power 4. It will be x to the power 2. Now square it. What is the term? If you square it, you will be getting 1. It is the same as the 1. Now, let's look at this. Now, previously, when we were using a squared minus b squared, we were factorizing it to a minus b and a plus b. So pay attention to this. That means you will be taking care that this is your a and this is your b. That means what you need to do is that deal with it as x squared, now minus, what's your b? The 1. Now again, x squared plus 1. Good. Now, am I done? Think of it. No, I'm still having this term who I didn't factorize it. So this, I'm done with it because it is two term and addition between them, not subtraction. Pay attention, it is difference between squares. So now I should seek this one also to convert it to a squared minus b squared, then factorize them, a minus b and a plus b. Good. So now let me just erase this and try to factorize it again. So we will convert it to x minus 1, x plus 1, and this will stay as it is, x squared plus 1. So these are all the factors of it when it is factored completely. So let's see the choices. One of these factors, is it x squared minus 1? Wrong. Is it 1? Wrong. Is it x? Wrong. So it is your x minus 1. Good. That's the end of this video. Please ask me if you need any question in the comments. Thank you so much and have a great day. Good luck.